Dating in the 21st century is a minefield. Swipe right, find your soulmate. Sounds easy, right? But let's be real. Modern dating is anything but simple. Between the endless apps, the ghosting, the situationships, and the superficial connections, finding something real feels like searching for a needle in a digital haystack. We've got more options than ever, yet somehow it feels harder than ever to truly connect. And it's not just about technology, it's about generations. Dating has changed drastically depending on when you grew up. Gen X, like me, we had to call someone's house and pray their dad didn't pick up. Dating meant actual conversations, face-to-face connections, and handwritten love notes. If you wanted to break up, you had to do it in person. No ghosting. Millennials, the transition generation, grew up with in-person dating but adapted to online dating with apps like Tinder and Bumble. They've seen both worlds, romantic gestures and instant gratification. This is the generation that turned the situationship into a lifestyle. And then we have Gen Z, the digital dating era. Everything starts online. DMs, snap streaks, FaceTimes. Hookup culture is stronger than ever, and commitment seems almost optional. Swiping has made it so easy to move on that people rarely put in the effort to make something last. So today we're breaking it down. Let's talk about dating in two very different stages of life. And 20s, when it's all about image, status, excitement, and then dating when you're older. When it actually matters. When you're looking for something meaningful, something built to last. I remember teenage dating. Back then, it wasn't about connection. It was about status. Who had the hottest girlfriend? Who could get your mates talking? It was all surface level. But if you had a girlfriend in high school, you wanted that to be your girlfriend forever. This is my first true love. But you didn't really know what a life partner was all about. I guess it was more about impressing my friends than building something real. It was kind of a game, chasing the thrill, the validation, the idea of what dating was supposed to look like. And let's be honest, most of us had no idea what we were doing. We just knew we wanted to be wanted. Then you leave school, you hit your 20s, and for a while, it's still kind of the same thing. Maybe you're dating for fun. Maybe you're still figuring yourself out. Maybe you think you want something serious, but aren't actually ready to commit. And that's fine. But eventually, if you're serious about finding real love, something shifts. You start realizing that attraction alone isn't enough. Because, let's face it, looks fade, excitement fades, and then what's left? It's character, compatibility, and shared goals. Once I grew up, I had a whole new criteria. I wanted someone who aligned with my vision of life. Not exactly the same, but compatible. I wanted someone that I could have deep conversations with. Someone who challenged me to grow. Someone I could truly build a future with. I wasn't just looking for a girlfriend. I was looking for a life partner. Someone who, when the excitement of something new wore off, I'd still want to be around. Someone I could trust, depend on, and build something meaningful with. During this feeling out phase of getting to know my now wife, we spent countless hours spanning over a few months asking each other deep questions. And at times, it felt like an interview, firing off questions from different angles to see if either of us was just saying the right thing to get the job. Because this decision, it wasn't just about dating. It was about building a life together. We wanted to know each other before making drastic changes to our life. And for us, it took on even more importance because I lived in Australia and she was in Romania. If we were going to make this work, we had to be sure. But I'll talk more about our relationship in an upcoming video during this series. So let's talk about modern dating, because the game has changed. Now it's all about the swipe. Dating apps have made meeting people easier, but they've also made it harder. When there's always another option, one swipe away. People treat relationships like they're disposable. Ghosting, breadcrumbing, situationships. These weren't even words when I was younger. Now they're defining dating culture. It's like we've turned love into a convenience store. If one option doesn't work out, there's always another one right around the corner. And with the evolution of dating, these apps have made it all boil down to looks. If the person in the photo doesn't turn you on, you swipe left. You never get to know them. Your decisions are based solely on their appearance. And if, like me, you're what Instagram deems ugly, you're going to have a hard time getting a date. You have to be Brad Pitt, Dave Chappelle, and Elon Musk rolled into one. Rich, funny, and good looking. Most of us don't have a chance from the get-go. And I think that's a problem. Attraction should be more than just a profile picture. It should be about connections, energy, and compatibility. Things you can't capture in a filtered selfie. Social media has made dating even more complicated. We see perfect relationships online, highlight reels of love stories that seem effortless. And then we compare. If our own relationship isn't Instagram worthy, we start doubting it. But love isn't about curated perfection. It's about real, messy, imperfect connections. And that's something a filtered photo can't capture. And don't get me started on hookup culture. The idea that dating should be casual, no strings attached, just fun. And while that works for some, it also creates a culture where deep emotional connections get sidelined. Dating becomes a transaction rather than a journey to truly getting to know someone. But eventually, you'll realize that mindless flings don't fill the space that true companionship does. And speaking of getting it right, let's talk about red flags, green flags. If you're looking for real love, you need to recognize when someone isn't being serious. Are they inconsistent? Do they avoid deep conversations? Do they disappear and reappear like magic? Those are red flags. But what about the green ones? Someone who listens? Someone who's emotionally available? Someone who actually makes an effort? Those are things that matter in the long run. So how do you actually find the right person? Well, first off, stop looking in all the wrong places. If you rely on apps, you're limiting yourself. Quality people are elsewhere. And second, work on yourself first. The best relationships come when you're already happy with who you are. Being single isn't a curse. It's preparation for when the right person comes along. Now, don't get me wrong. Back in the day, I wasn't exactly dating with a deep sense of purpose either. I dated for nothing more than, shall we say, desire? I could tell you some stories about that time in my life, but some stories are better left untold. But at the end of the day, love isn't about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone real, someone who sees you, supports you, and chooses you every single day. And if that's what you're looking for, then forget the swiping, forget the mind games, and start being intentional about who you let into your life. So what's your take on modern dating? Have you noticed these shifts? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.